of harsh extremes, wildlife cameraman Andreas Kieling sets out to film some of the rarest, most elusive and most misunderstood animals on Earth. From the biggest land animals of all to survivors in the ice zones. Kieling is in rugged pursuit of the world's wildest encounters. Andreas has come to South America to chase down a jaguar, but this one's too easy.
This is Chico, a young jaguar. He is 9 months old, and forest worker found him in the forest. He's very playful. He likes the binoculars, I don't know why.
A full-grown jaguar can tip the scales at 100 kilos. That's what Andreas is here to see.
I'm in the southwest of Brazil. This region is called the Pantanal. It's the biggest wetland area in the whole world. 600 kilometers long and 300 kilometers wide. It's a big wilderness, just a few people live here. And the king of the Pantanal is the jaguar, and I'm in search of him.
Though the Amazon Pantanal near the border of Paraguay is bigger than Greece, it has no maps or roads. The waterways constantly shift, and the jaguars know how to disappear. With jaws strong enough to pierce a skull, the big cats aren't exactly sought after anyway. In Portuguese, Pantanal means marsh. It has more than 650 bird species, like these jabirus and kingfishers. Cats chase mice, jaguars chase capybaras, the world's biggest rodents. And no wetland is complete without crocodilians. Here, they're caimans. But so far, no jaguars.
This is a very simple instrument from bamboo where you can imitate a jaguar call with.
A fierce caiman doesn't want to tangle with a jaguar, even in the water. But there's nothing to worry about here.
No answer, no reaction.
Andreas goes to consult the local fishermen. Maybe they've seen a jaguar.
So you're the big jaguar spotter then. It's always the same. I asked this guy, when you saw your last jaguar, and he say, oh, it's only 20 minutes ago. He crossed the river right in front of our camp. People see jaguars everywhere, everyone. But when I come to this place, all what we see, they are old footprints.
So Andreas makes tracks of his own, taking his search elsewhere.
Hasta la vista.
As Andreas continues upriver, he passes great flocks of pink spoonbills and egrets. They don't seem to mind humans at all. They'd be a lot more wary if a caiman got too close.
Right. I shouldn't mess with a caiman. He could have snapped my paddle. There are lots of them here, and the water is infested with piranhas. And in the evening, there are lots and lots of mosquitoes.
For half the year, this place is under several meters of water.
Looks like solid ground, but it's a floating big island. 100 of square kilometers in the Pantanal.
They are just like this.
So if you stay too long on one place, you will sink. But if you walk permanently, you have a pretty good chance to make your way.
Sandbanks form the only halfway solid ground, and all the animals gather on them.
This is the jabiru, the biggest in the stork family in whole America. He's about 1.5 meters high, and his wings, they are close to 2 meters.
The jabiru's red collar is not made of feathers, but of skin. When he's irritated, it turns a deep scarlet color. He's enjoying taking bites of piranha fish. The capybaras seem very relaxed too. That probably means there's no jaguar around.
Now I know why the German name for these animals is water pig or water hog, because they smell like pigs and they are surrounded by a lot of insects, and this means all the little birds, the flycatcher, love this animal. And they live off the pickings from their fur.
For days, Andreas hasn't seen a single jaguar. Until now.
There's a jaguar crossing the river. Yeah, this was my first jaguar. They are pretty good swimmer. The problem here is you have to be to the right time on the right place. A couple seconds earlier, and we got him really nice on film.
That one got away, but Andreas is hot on the trail of another, tracking it by its prey.
I can smell rotten meat, like a carcass. Could be a jaguar take some animal down here, and I really can smell it, so.
Jaguars have been known to drag away a 350-kilogram bull.
Looks like the jaguar drags his prey this way. You see this path here? Oh yeah, it's a big crocodile. Oh, look at this. The footprints from the jaguar, they are pretty big. I mean, this is a massive caiman, so he dragged him about 50 meters from the water to here. So this means this was a big cat. Yeah, and the smell. Fabio thinks this is older than a week, maybe 10 days. Normally cats, they come back 2-3 times to eat on the carcass again, but this carcass is over. I think the jag is far away and it's looking for another prey. Okay, let's go. Thanks.
One thing about jaguars, they like fresh meat. They mainly hunt in the dim light of dusk or dawn. They don't usually attack humans. But don't bet your life on it.
Things are really jumping here. There's a riverboat here, and on it there's a fisherman who's been attacked by a jaguar.
The cat first attacked the engine in his boat.
It doesn't look good. The jaguar bit the man in the neck and in the face. And they are trying to take him 150 kilometers upstream to Castles. Of course, everyone is very excited, and you can see the people in this region aren't exactly in love with a jaguar.
So the jaguar damaged a lot on this small motor. The whole cover is gone. He bit in the handle and he damaged a lot here. It's fresh spit from him here. Too, it's a bad smell.
The jaguar then stalked the riverboat, following it from mooring to mooring. That's almost unheard of.
The jaguar is right here, only 3 meters far from the boat in the grassland. It's unbelievable. Now he comes closer. Can you hold the lamp, please? Everybody here is in panic, so they like to leave. Wow, look at this. Look at this head, how big it is.
The crew tries everything to drive it off.
Jaguar doesn't leave, he's still sitting here, but our boat is locked with the lines to the land, so we cannot go on land to leave this place. When he lick one time blood, he will lick again, so this means he comes again, so they like to leave this place. I think the men, they like to cut the lines. Okay.
By morning, the jaguar was gone. The victim made it to the hospital and survived. When Andreas came here for a wild jaguar encounter, this wasn't what he had in mind. Back in the reserve, Chico can never be wild enough to return to the forest. He will spend his life sheltered by humans, but he will never be tamed. The Pantanal jaguars are strictly protected, so they'll always be kings of the rainforest. From the remote Brazilian kingdom of the Jaguars, Andreas heads to China to look for a ghost. Unlikely as it seems, wilderness adventurer Andreas Kieling has come to the 21st century boomtown of Shanghai, China, where the Baiji dolphin, nicknamed the goddess of the Yangtze River, has been officially declared extinct. Andreas hasn't given up on it. He's come to eavesdrop on its crowded world.
This is the old BBC radio trick. If you have no underwater microphone, but you like to make underwater recordings, you put a condom over your mic, because I'm really curious to hear, to listen, how the sound is underwater for the dolphins. The noise from the boats, from the engines, from the props. Pretty excited. It's incredible how strong the sound is. I can hear every prop, every motor, I think every boat. So for a dolphin, it's pretty rough to find orientation in this water.
A disoriented dolphin can't escape danger. A collision with a boat probably killed this museum specimen.
Typical for the Baiji dolphin is his light-colored skin and his extremely long nose.
Efforts to relocate them during the 80s and 90s didn't go well. In 2006, they were declared extinct. But Andreas doesn't believe they're all gone. He'll make a last attempt to find a living Baiji. About a third of China's population lives along the Yangtze River. Sometimes people report sightings in these well-traveled, hectic waters, but no one takes them seriously. If Baiji dolphins remain, they're most likely upstream. Ask a local fisherman.
Do you know Baiji? Baiji? You ever saw one? Mayo?
The Baiji dolphins are thought to have evolved in the North Pacific and to have migrated here thousands, perhaps millions of years ago.
Oh, great. Went well.
The Yangtze stretches almost as wide as a sea here. But however hard Andreas looks, what he sees is almost definitely garbage. Before long, Andreas realizes that this quest is futile. Bye-bye, Baiji. But not all Asian dolphins suffer the same fate. Andreas heads to Myanmar, formerly Burma, where for the moment at least, political upheaval and natural disasters have kept modernization at bay, and dolphins in the river. Or at least that's what Andreas has been told. This country, a little larger than France, is mostly rural, with nothing even approaching the hustle and bustle of cities like Shanghai. Here, Andreas can afford to hire an entire riverboat for his search.
That's my cabin for the next 7 days. Oh, looks not bad. Yeah, with a great view to the river, couldn't be better.
We're on the Irawaddy, the great river that bisects Burma from north to south for over 2,000 kilometers. It's famous for its river dolphins that work so closely with the fishermen. But at first, Andreas finds no trace. He decides to ask the locals, farmers eking out a desperate existence on the poor land along the banks of the river.
Like this, here in the river. Yeah. Oh, so.
That's the first positive comment I've heard.
There are plenty of signs of birds hunting fish, but still the dolphins are keeping away. Andreas has now reached the middle section of the Irawaddy. Nobody knows how many dolphins are still here. It could be as few as 100. At a fork in the river, the place the captain recommended, Andreas sets up camp to wait. Most of the fishermen have no motors on their boats, and they cast their nets by hand. One evening, the captain sees 3 dolphins. He tries to attract them by imitating their calls. But they dip back into the water, even before the canoe can be lowered. Andreas hitches a lift with a fisherman. He hopes he can get closer to the dolphins this way. At last, there they are. Standing in the shallow water of the river, Andreas has already learned how to attract them, slapping the water surface like the tail of a tasty, struggling fish. But it's no good trying to film them underwater. The mud and fine sand make it impossible. The dolphins stop a few meters away. They stay close for more than an hour trying to figure Andreas out. It's the fishermen they're used to. Their tapping attracts the dolphins, which swim around the boats, corralling the fish into the nets. The fishermen then share the catch with the dolphins.
It's a very quiet and peaceful place here compared to the Yangtze River. So I understand why so sensitive animals like river dolphins can exist only on places like this.
It seems like a perfect way to share meager resources. A delicate balance that can only be disturbed when this place is further developed, as one day it must be. There is one place on Earth where river dolphins are still plentiful, but seldom seen because they hardly ever encounter humans. The Amazon.
The dolphins are right in front of me.
They call Amazon river dolphins botos, and they're the largest freshwater dolphins in the world. The fin on their back is just a hump.
It's wonderful. Here where the Amazon meets the Rio Negro, about 30,000 botas live in Amazonia. Nobody knows exactly the number. But it's no pollution here in the water, and it's so rich on fish, so I think this is one reason. And they have the nice long beak, like the Yangtze dolphins. Wow.
As they age, these dolphins change from gray to pink.
Look at this. That's incredible. He likes the fish head. Wonderful. Look at these small eyes. They don't need them in this dark, nearly black water. They navigate mainly with the echolocation system. He takes the fish out of my hand very gently. I think I'm going into the water with him. Let's see what happens. Oh, one bit my foot.
These guys don't have any problem with humans because humans are scarce.
Usually, dolphins are very gentle with people. Their skin feels very soft. One of them hasn't had anything to eat yet, and he's tucking into me.
They may be playing, but the dolphins make it pretty clear who's boss. In Amazon River folklore, botos transform into handsome men at night. They seduce young women and then return to the river as dolphins come morning. But right now, Andreas is more to their liking.
The dolphins are getting more and more intrusive. They want more fish. They bitten my hand good and hard. Yes, you too. And the teeth, they are pretty sharp. Well, they have to eat fish, so they have to hold slippery animals underwater. Even when I'm being bitten, it's impossible to resist one last wild encounter like this.
After Andreas's wet and wild adventure with the dolphins, he dries himself off and moseys on out to the American West, where feeding the animals is not recommended.
This is my 5th time in Yellowstone. I dreamt of this place when I was a child in East Germany, and I first read about the West. I've come in winter to see how the biggest animals survive in the harshest time of the year.
Grizzly bears or brown bears, they don't hibernate. It's more like a winter sleep, so they can wake up very quick. And especially on very mild winter days like today, they come out of the dens and they look around for carcasses.
Groggy bears aren't fussy eaters. This one has found a wapiti calf that probably died of cold or was downed by wolves.
They're pretty weak.
Another bear has just caught the scent, but there's not enough to go round. Bears don't share, but have these two got the energy to fight it out? This time of year, there's a simple rule: finders, keepers.
If the bears want to warm up, they have a lot of options here. Yellowstone's geothermal activity is one of the main reasons why I wanted to come to the park.
In a normal winter, the animals like to hang around the hot springs because it's a lot of fresh food here in this area. But this winter is extremely mild, so as they are still spread out.
The park's 9,000 square kilometers are equally stunning in summer and in winter. Bison get all the press, but they've always shared this land and near extinction with pronghorn, which once grazed the plains by the millions. Only distantly related to African antelopes, pronghorn sport unique head ornaments that are forked and shed like antlers, but grow from a bony core like horns. No other animal has that combination.
Pronghorn antelopes are the fastest mammals on the American continent. They can reach speeds of 75 kilometers an hour. And their eyes are set in such a way they can see almost 360 degrees around them.
Pronghorn eat a wide variety of grasses and shrubs. 100 years ago, hunting brought numbers down to below 20,000. Now there are up to 1 million.
This is an incredible experience. The whole ground is shaking. This geyser is very old, many thousand years. You can see him like this cone. It's built by silicates.
Yellowstone, formed in the basin of a volcanic caldera or crater, has more than half of the world's geysers. The steam and bubbling sulfur pools keep the chill off the resident grazers, like this wapiti.
Wapiti are the second largest in the deer family. And this is a really big bull. He has about 350 to 400 kilograms. Only the moose, they can be bigger.
The rack on a fully grown wapiti bull can weigh more than 13 kilograms. He'll use it to lock antlers with rival males for the right to mate. Before Europeans came to the Americas, an estimated 10 million wapiti munched through the landscape. Now they're down to an estimated 1 million. This situation is more dangerous than it looks. Not even a grizzly bear will tackle an adult wapiti. But the bull decides Andreas is not a threat, so there's no need to chase him away. And at last, Andreas meets the animals he has really come to see. Bison have always lived here at Yellowstone, though not long ago they almost disappeared.
That's the biggest herd I saw till now. Yellowstone is the only area in the lower 48 of the US
where the bisons have never been extinct.
The prairie bison, North America's heaviest mammal, loves to throw its weight around. Bulls weigh nearly a ton. Even in the middle of winter, males constantly jockey for status in the herd. Though they won't mate until August, they confront their rivals head-on. Their fur grows into a dense mat that acts like a helmet. A thick skull helps too. Wild and woolly, they don't pay much attention to other animals. Except one.
This is a typical marking place for a wolf. A little higher up on a hill, you see the fresh urine, big tracks. Males do this, so they tell like, that's my territory, I'm looking for a female, and mating season will start right now.
In 1995, rangers reintroduced several packs of North American timber wolves from Canada. Their appearance rekindled an ancient rivalry between bison and wolves. Bison avoid wolves, especially in packs, because they prey on their calves. But the wolves serve a purpose. They keep the wapiti population in check, preventing overgrazing. Temperatures below -20 degrees centigrade are common, but the bison's thick fur lets them shrug it off. They shovel snow aside with their heads and beards to get at the grasses that will see them through the winter. Sometimes it's not enough. About 9% of adults, usually sick or old bison, don't see the following spring. These are trusting, confident animals, and that nearly spelled their doom as gunshots once echoed across the plains.
Bisons, they are really easy to approach, especially the males. They're just standing. So in the old days, they call it sport, to walk to a bison and shot him down to the ground.
Native Americans had always hunted bison for food. But by the 1870s, European settlers and traders were killing thousands of bison a day for their hides and to starve the Native Americans. North America's largest land animal once ranged from northern Canada to Mexico. A female can give birth starting from the age of 2, usually to just one calf. Today, North America has at most 15,000 truly wild bison, not crossbred with cattle. There used to be as many as 60 million. Before the sun sets, the moon rises behind the Rocky Mountains. The wolves start to howl, roll call for a gathering hunting pack. Andreas lights his fire to make sure that he's safe for the night.
Today was a really exciting day. I saw all the different wolves again. And I was pretty sure I would see an attack by the pack. But it didn't happen. But tomorrow I may be luckier. Winter camping is a nice thing when you have the right equipment. No rain, no mosquitoes. The coldness, I can handle this. I can hear the wolves howling right from here. I mean, what a quality of life. So my barnock is ready. Not bad.
The nighttime belongs to the wolves. About 100 of them in 14 packs claim their territories in the park and make their kills. The darkness is their ally. By day, far fewer attacks are successful. This pack found a wapiti. It won't last long. An adult wolf can eat 9 kilograms of meat at a sitting, and the dominant male gets first pick. The morning finds Andreas safe and sound and ready for a dip.
Wow, it's so hot! You don't believe how hot it is. You know, the water comes out of the ground with about 90-80 degrees Celsius, so it's close to boiling. I'm really wondering, you see vegetation right here on the side. I have to be very careful. Some of the rocks, they are really sharp. Oh, I cut it. It's this calcium carbonate here in the water. It's like a mineral drink. Very tasty, very special, and I think very healthy. It's nice to do this, like in the sauna, and back to the hot springs.
Now fully awake, Andreas tries some animal psychology on the bison.
If you want to have respect
From bisons, it's always good if you go down like a wolf or a cougar, a mountain lion. So then they think you are not a predator. You see, this walking is very simple, means nothing for a bison. But now, when I go down like a wolf, you will see what's going on. You see, this means for the bison, I'm another predator, like a wolf or a mountain lion. It's a totally different behavior. So, compared to when I stand up and walk like a human, I can go right to him and maybe touch him. Don't do it, but it's possible.
The bison is still the symbolic animal of Native Americans. Today, stocks are stable here in Yellowstone, one of the natural wonders of the world. For me, it's simply a miracle they have survived, and that makes me very happy.
As bison begin to thunder once again across the American plains, on the other side of the world, a different kind of thunder shakes the desert. Andreas has to tread carefully.
I've come to the Namibian desert in southwest Africa. This place is so dry, it looks like nothing could survive. In fact, there is life everywhere. And it's not always what you expect.
If you see this track here, you definitely think it's from a snake, but it's not. It's from a lizard with no legs. It's called a skink. So when I follow this, I think I will find the reptile.
Although skinks and snakes are related, there are differences. Skinks have eyelids and ear holes, snakes don't.
His skin feels like wax. It's so smooth, so this allows him to go very fast into the sand.
And this is a gecko. He never comes out during the day. That's because sunlight could kill him. Imagine a desert animal that can't stand light.
I like to protect him from sunlight because he is a totally night-active reptile and more like an albino, so he has no pigments on his skin. Sometimes you see his heart or his lungs inside. He's like transparent. So, very specialized animal, like everybody here in the desert.
But Andreas is here for the animals at the opposite end of the scale, the biggest and tallest on Earth. They're constantly on the move, and he has given himself just 6 weeks to track them down.
This is a footprint from a huge elephant. I think it's a bull. Only bulls travel by himself. Look at this size. Desert elephants have much bigger feet than savanna elephants because they have to walk in very soft sand. And every footprint is very unique. It's like my fingerprint. You found him only one. So the steps, they are far from step to step. This means his travel speed is about 10 to 11 kilometers per hour, which is a lot. It's really a lot. I cannot follow. I think he's on the walk to the next water hole, and he is about 2 to 3 hours in front of me. If you see this, it's not more really sharp. The ridge from the footprint, the wind blows this a little bit away, so you can see it's about 2 to 3 hours old. Maybe tomorrow I get him in front of my camera.
These common waxbills and Cape glossy starlings can drink from a tiny puddle beneath this thorn bush. But there's another source of moisture for some animals.
This elephant dung is pretty fresh because it's still wet. The air is so dry here, and so the moisture stays only for an hour on this dung. And if you see all the little insects, they are not here for the food. They are only here for the moisture. So looks like the elephants, they are only 1 hour in front of me. And another very interesting thing I can tell here on this elephant dung is this is from a youngster, from a young elephant. Because when they are older and the teeth, they are very flat, they cannot more so good smash the food, which means you have much more stuff in like this. Very, very long grass. But this looks like very, very, very good digested. So it's from a younger elephant.
That afternoon, after the daily dust storm, Andreas catches up with a small herd, a cow elephant with 2 young and a small bull.
African elephants are very aware of their own strengths, and you can never be sure what's going on in their heads. They're very unpredictable.
At first, they ignore Andreas, so he gets as close as he can. But the cow elephant isn't happy about it. She's probably concerned about her calves.
The wind's coming from my direction. They can smell me.
Hey, it's okay.
she means business, Andreas can't outrun her.
Okay, I'm going.
Ist gut. I tell you, this is very loud. And this means, really, go. It's always, if you stay in an open area with no protection, anytime. And please don't do this. For the whole TV audience and the whole world, don't do it. It's really dangerous. It's only good for, let's say, pros or stupid people. Good way to die.
After his close call with the elephant, Andreas looks for a slightly friendlier animal. But even desert giraffes can run up to 50 kilometers an hour and defend themselves with a kick strong enough to crush a lion's skull. Of all the large mammals, giraffes need the least sleep, no more than 5 hours a day. This is a male. Females' horns tend to have tufts of hair on top.
He's a young bull and he's a little bit scared about me. But young bull means he's about 4 meters high. So, and if you watch all the trees here around, you will see they are all eaten by desert giraffes. So, an adult giraffe is maybe 4.5 meters high, and then the tongue, another 40 centimeters. So this means they have a range from about close to 5 meters where they can eat the leaves.
Back on the elephant trail, Andreas makes a discovery.
Now that's a nice piece of ivory, but look at how old it is. Looks like this is like 30, 40 years in the harsh climate here, very dry, but still very heavy. So when an elephant loses his tusk, he never will grow again. Which is not a big problem here in this area, because normally the elephants, they don't have big tusks. And it's illegal to take it with, so I leave it here.
The moratorium on ivory since 1989 has stabilized elephant numbers. Tracking his elephants, Andreas has to be careful where he steps.
This snake doesn't move fast, but it's pretty poisonous. Most accidents in Africa happen with snakes or with elephants. I'm going to try to catch this puff adder. It's slow, so it's not too difficult to catch her.
Puff adders kill more humans than any other African snake. Untreated, its venom can bring death in little more than a day.
The important thing with snakes is if you catch one, grab her right behind the head. So I'm right-handed, so I have to use my right hand. And also very important is, if you have the snake, hold her tight, right behind her head, so she cannot turn around and bite you. Wow, look at the big fangs. The snake lives mostly from small mammals. That's her main prey. The snake has a very rough skin. This helps her to move over the sand. It's typical for snakes from desert areas. And now it's a tricky moment to release the snake. It's always good to hold her by the head and let her fall just down to the ground. Very simple.
At last, Andreas catches up with the elephant family. They see him and approach. But will it be a happy reunion?
I hope they will avoid me. But they caught my scent. And this little calf got lost just now. This doesn't look too good for me.
Elephants make way for no other animal. Their splayed ears make them look bigger and signal their dominance. This is their route. Only the revving of the truck persuades them to go on their way. They're not used to a human or any other animal standing its ground. Close to Namibia's border with Angola, the landscape gets greener and more mountainous. It's here that Andreas finds the biggest herd yet. From a low of 50 individuals in the 1980s, desert elephants now number around 600. Andreas has tracked them for 5 weeks, roaming their ancient migration routes long enough to feel very close to them. But he still wants to see a big bull elephant in the week he has left to film. After 3 days, Andreas catches up with a gigantic bull, a loner, probably over 50, on the lookout for a receptive female. A dust bath helps remove parasites, but a desert elephant has to stop at a waterhole at least once every 3 days. It's almost incredible that such a colossus can find enough food in this barren landscape. He needs around 150 kilos of grasses, roots and bark a day. But he doesn't seem to be going hungry. Andreas finds the herd again on the banks of a dried-out riverbed. Elephants can't jump. They could easily injure themselves, so Andreas can get very close.
This is also a tactic you can use with elephants. If you make yourself very, very small and you barely seem to be there. Strangely, they tend to be very comfortable with human beings. They don't seem to see us as intruders. Oh, seems I spoke too soon. They react to me like another elephant bull coming into the group. They kick with their feet, send up lots of dust. We've seen that in a herd. And then they withdraw. I think I will go now. I'm acknowledging, okay, you are stronger than me. You don't want me in your herd. What a pity. I would love to be among them.
Perhaps the safest way to see the elephants is at a watering hole, where all the larger animals of the desert gather and find safety in numbers, predators and prey alike.
It's strange to reflect that in the end we humans can look and try to understand, but we cannot really take part.